Officially, boom. As I said earlier, it is open topic and we are starting off with referrals. Roxana,
Yes.
hi. Okay, so let's talk about that. You were presented an opportunity to receive a referral, correct?
Mhm.
Awesome. So questions for you. Do you know the agent? Like, is it a person?
No, it just came from text and
A
it's a
text.
number.
Oh, for that, yeah, let's really get into that. The
Yeah.
text from the numbers are
Yeah.
not my favorite at
Oh,
all.
okay.
No. If it's a referral from an agent, yes,
Okay.
let's run with that scenario.
Okay.
Remember, we're in the business of creating relationships and helping one another grow. And yes, we all have our own business, but we're not here to put more money in other corporations' pockets. Okay. We're trying to help each other. So let's talk about those agent to agent referrals. And Roxana, when you receive this type of opportunity, that's when I want you to jump on it. Okay. So, Tim, you're on the call. Are you able to hop in? Like unmute, maybe not camera, but are you able to come off mute? Because Tim and I have a real life situation that we can draw out in the aspect of referrals.
I'm here.
Oh, there you are. Okay, so I will let you lead this off because I believe it came from your open house, correct?
Yes.
Awesome. Can you tell me about that open house really quick? We didn't get a Monday call anyway, so tell us about how you received this opportunity to share.
So I had an open house and one person came in. She was traveling from Virginia. She lives in Woodbridge. And she was just driving it, or she flew in the area. She was headed to the airport going home and saw the open house sign, decided to drive by. And when she came in, we got to talking and she told me her story about living in Woodbridge, wanting to retire and coming to Florida and living here in Jacksonville. So that opened up a whole different kind of conversation about, okay, do you have a agent you're talking to there? And she said, no. Do you have an agent? But she said she lives in a gated community in Woodbridge, and she said she doesn't think she's going to have a problem finding a realtor. I said, well, I've got partners up in Virginia that I'd be glad to refer you to. So she said, okay. And I sent the referral over. I don't know if she ever got in contact with you guys or if y'all got in contact with her. I know that you tried calling, but
Yeah, so I'll take it from this point here. I got a message from Tim who, excuse me, who asked, hey, do you or one of your agents cover Woodbridge? And so I then reached out to my agent on my team. Her name is Jessica, and I know she covers Richmond up to Northern Virginia. And I asked, unfortunately, she said, my MLS covers right up to Woodbridge. And she mentioned another city that is maybe 10, 15 minutes from Woodbridge. I said, that's ridiculous. Look into that MLS and see how much it is. By that time, after I get off the phone with her, Tim sends me a photo of the lead's info. I immediately call her. I did not reach her, but I did leave her a voicemail. It went a little something like this. Hey, this is Tiffany Mosby, your new realtor here in Virginia with eXp. I got your contact information from my partner down in Florida, Tim. I believe you met him at one of his open houses. I'm really looking forward to the opportunity to helping you list your home. Please give me a call back when you get a moment so we can discuss the next steps. My number is blah, blah, blah. I then went back to Tim's message and I let him know, hey, I've reached out to the agent Jessica and I have reached out to the lead and left a voicemail. I will keep you posted. Tim finishes up his work at the open house and I saw in my email, Tim also sent the referral agreement as well for me to sign. I have not gotten to it, Tim, because my day just started, but I will. That's how the opportunity came about and how we worked it initially. Okay. Any questions so far before we proceed? Yes, no, I see.
I have a question.
Yeah, go for it. I was gonna call on you. I was like, I see someone's hand is up.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So can we talk about methods of communication right here, right now?
Methods of communication, yes. Done by, okay, well, agent to agent, that was messages because we were both very busy. He was at an open house, I was at an open house. So that was done in Messenger, but phone call after that, phone call from me to the lead, phone call from me to my partner agent that will be working it with me. And then back to Messenger to follow up with Tim. Why?
And why do we start with a phone call?
It's one of the most personable ways. They also get to hear my voice, hear the tone, hear that I'm friendly, not just all salesy. I also, because of my wording, and personally, when I meet someone new, I say, your new realtor in Virginia or in Hampton Roads, I'm your realtor. And if I were to put that in a text, that doesn't come off in the same way as, hey, this is Tiffany, your new realtor in Virginia. Other questions?
Sure. I'm assuming you also follow that up with other methods. What would be in those types of communications?
To the lead,
Messaging.
follow-up text message, just saying, hey, this is Tiffany Mosby, your new realtor in Virginia. No, I'm just kidding. No, it's a text message just saying, hey, this is Tiffany Mosby with EXP. I just left you a voicemail. Let me know and we can chat.
And with that text message, do you also include your contact information?
Yes, Tiffany Mosby. It's my text message signature line that has my name, brokerage, area I work with, phone number, email, website.
And your contact card also?
No, not anymore.
Not so they couldn't just grab it and drop it right into their contacts on their phone?
No, because on the new phones, you just click over, create new contact, boom. And because then when you send a contact card, it doesn't always come over in a nice, easy way. I've found from Android to iPhone or vice versa, or depending on how you're sending that contact card. I do send my Linktree link as a text message, and that has a way to save contact information if they would like to do it that way. That's me personally. Does anyone, I want to ask, does anyone else do anything aside from what was just mentioned so far on if they've received referrals and worked them? How many of you know how the percentage of your business that is referrals? As of now, I am sitting around 83%. And then I have one that closes today. That was also a referral that I grabbed from Mama Claire. That is the third referral that Claire has helped me grab this year, actually. So partner agents are amazing. If you're curious as to how I grab those opportunities, it's because Claire has seen posts. She's just been on Facebook or Workplace and seen, hey, need a realtor in Virginia. And she has tagged me in it because Claire also knows my process. As soon as I see it, I say, got it, thanks. And I'm immediately calling that referring agent. Immediately. I don't care if the message says DM me. I really don't. I know, one, there's going to be a lot of people that don't even follow that instruction and they just straight put their info into the chat or tag other people. But I do send a courtesy call, and in that voicemail, I let them know, I see in your post you said to send a DM. I am following up with one now. But I still take action first to show them that that's exactly how I'm going to treat that referral, that client that they're trusting me with.
So Tiffany, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
when you're looking for an agent to refer to,
Hmm.
what are you looking for? And how do you feel this most affects you?
First, I am obviously first I'm looking for a GPS agent. Quite honestly, I'm looking for one of our fellow GPS agents, honestly, that I've seen on the calls that I know is engaged in training or in production in some way. Um, that's what I look for first. And then I am calling the agent and I'm asking them what's their style? How do they like to operate? How do they like to communicate with their clients? What's their follow-up like? What's their vendor resources and partnerships like? Because I basically just want to know that my client or my friend is going to be taken care of to the same level that I would take care of them. And quite honestly, if I don't feel like you would take care of them to the right level or to the level that I would provide, then you're not getting that referral. Like I know for a fact, Chris Dove has Tallahassee down pat. I know what her follow-up is like. I know how hard she fights for her clients. I know her negotiation skills. I know her knowledge of the market. Hands down, any day of the week, I would trust her with my referrals for Tallahassee. And it's because I know her business and I know her. So first
would
I'm
you
looking
say-
within GPS. If I can't find within GPS, I do have questions for that agent. And none of it is how many deals have you done in the last 6 months? I've never asked that question.
So Tiffany, do you find that you're referring business or you're referring your reputation?
Reputation. Also, because I'm telling you guys right now, I will tell you if the person I'm referring is a pain and know that I'm only referring family that's paying, like, please, and I'm sorry, I would take them if I would. And if they are just a client from hell, I'm not giving them to you because I respect you, your time and your business. So it goes both ways because I also don't want the reputation of just referring out problems.
And then what happens if it's not working out? I mean, this was your referral. Do you give them other options?
Yes, if I had to. I do check in with the agents that I refer to, not in a micromanaging way. It's just a quick, hey, just so you know, so-and-so loves you so much, or they're doing good, or they had questions, whatever it is. And I'm just here to help support you. If you have any questions or need any assistance, I'm always available. And if I feel like it's just not a good fit, or if the client has conveyed that it's not a good fit, then I will offer alternatives. 2 seconds. Next question. I feel like this went from open topic to Tiffany hot seat and referrals.
Well, no, I mean, I see other players here for today. I think I see Miss Jessica Baskey here. I think we should pull her in a little bit.
Is Jessica on here? Jessica.
Good morning. Here, I'm
Good
still in
morning.
PJs in all honesty, but hold on. Get my camera on. Good morning.
Gorgeous, even in PJs.
Oh, stop it.
So happy to have you on here. Is there anything that you do that is unique either to your business or your market in terms of referrals?
Yes. So like for example, like how I go about lead generation.
Yeah, any of it. Any of it. This is like open topic, but right now we've seen to have a lot of discussion and questions and interest around referrals, incoming, outgoing, the vetting process, all of it, the workflow.
Sure. So as far as referrals go, I try to create referral partners. So I really go after like people that I think will send me referrals as a big part of my business. And for me, that's attorneys. I always say with a caveat though, that like, that's because of my background. And so I love to always say like, go with what you know. Like Joe joined my team recently And he has an amazing managerial background. He's been managers for big, big companies. I would never go to Joe and say, let's build up your attorney profile. I go to Joe and say, let's work your past and let's work on building your relationship partners with who was in your last job, who did you work with, who did you manage, and let's use those skills and bring them in. I worked at the law firm for years before getting into real estate. So now I've found a really nice niche in how I can utilize the relationships I built from my past job and bring them over to real estate. So I go to a lot of attorney networking events. I rent an office from the law firm I used to work at, and I just stay around attorneys a lot. So as far as referrals go, I just like really strategically try to place myself with people that will send me referrals. And for me, it's probate and estate attorneys. For somebody else, it may be divorce attorneys. And for somebody else, it may be your past job. Maybe you have a great network of teachers around you, whatever that is. So that's where I would say the bulk of like referral, like get a phone call, like, hey, this attorney told me to work with you, come list my house. That's where the bulk of like, I would say referrals come from.
And I have a question for you. When you have built that relationship with an attorney, how does that request for referrals go? How does that look like for you once you have that? Because I'm assuming it's not just, oh, hi, my name is Jessica Vasquez. It's nice to meet you. Send me all your referrals. I'm sure it's not that the first time you meet them. So once you have built up the relationship and you feel you have the right to ask for referrals, what does that conversation look like or sound like?
So I wish I was that forward. I'm not. Maybe one day. But really for me, it's more about staying in front of them. So, you know, whether that's phone calls, continuing to go to the events, and just letting people know, like, this is what I do. Like, oh, you're an attorney in this field. Like, I'm certified probate real estate agent. If you have any clients that are looking for something within that niche, I'm here to help you. That's why it's nice to have a niche, because then I can kind of like work my way in rather than just being like, send me all your referrals. It's like, oh, if you need somebody qualified to like really do the job that needs to be done, that understands the probate process, that understands the hand-holding involved, I would love to help you with that. So that's more where the ask comes in. I'm more like a long-term relationship builder. I'm not very forward like that. So it would look more like, you know, continuing to go to coffee, to lunch, whatever. I'm always down for a lunch date because I eat out for lunch like every single day at this point. So it looks like bringing them out, you know, staying in touch, going to the events. I was just at one not this past weekend, the weekend before in Delray. I was invited. It was an attorney event that happened to be local in Delray. Somebody invited me. I literally had food poisoning the day before, and I still, I was like, you know what, this is an important opportunity. I was not feeling 100%, but it was an opportunity to locally get in front of the people that I've tried to get in front of. So I wouldn't say I'm super forward, but I do try to build the relationship long-term.
Okay, that's awesome. Thank you for that. I know there are some people that are very forward, Tom Martin, who have no problem just asking right off the bat. And then there's others that are a little bit more gentle natured that aren't quite sure what that looks like.
Yeah. Say if you're like me and you're not as forward and you don't have that, like, you know, have it in you to be like a little more on the selling yourself side, which is an amazing trait to have. Like I wish I was more forward. But if you're not on that side, I would say kind of taking my approach of like just looking at it as a long-term play. I mean, all of my deals at this point have been long-term plays. I have a new construction client under contract that won't be done till after next year. You know, like that's how I look at real estate now, being in it for a few years now. It's like so much of this is a long-term play. So maybe I won't get a referral the first time I meet an attorney, but maybe it's the fourth time that I see them at an event. You know, I try to go to the same stuff. I did learn this early on, where I tried to go to just whatever events were in my area. I would go to like a Jewish group, and then I would go to like a junior league meeting. And then I was just going to all these different networking events. And that did not work for me. I like the sticking with like a few organizations, really building the relationships and seeing the same people over and over. For me, that's what's worked, is like building those relationships over time rather than just trying to get my face out to every single event that was local and then meeting a bunch of random people that I never spoke to again. So that's also part of the niching down. Like I love nonprofit work, so I'm really involved with a few nonprofits here. So I'm involved with Junior League, Impact 100, look in your local areas. They probably have chapters there. And again, that's been for the last few years, keeping me in front of the same people, building the relationships. You don't have to be as forward, because once they add me on Instagram, I'm then the real estate girl. Because that's, you know, then that's all they see and that's what they relate me to. Like I was on a Junior League meeting last night and this one girl was like asking what everybody did. And she goes, well, I know Jessica does real estate and she's my real estate girl. Like, what do the rest of you do? You know, and it's like, as you just start, like, once you get them on social, then it's a little easier to build that up. But yeah, for as far as like referrals, I look at it as like a long-term relationship play.
Okay, so it also was a great segue for building your brand, because that was all in that branding niche. Like you stuck to your guns, like you said, you had that experience in law, and rather than going to all of the groups, you know, you just went back to, I'd say, kind of your roots, and where you had already built relationships, and you just fostered those and created new ones within those same circles to foster, correct?
Yeah, I was resistant to it too. I was like, I want to put law past me. I am done. I'm not going to law school. Like, screw that. Like, let me get into real estate and do something completely opposite. And then I looked back, and this is a good lesson too, like for those that are newer, I looked back at my first year. And, you know, I didn't do that much. I did like just under $1 million in my first year, which in South Florida is not great, but I did a lot of rentals and stuff. And I look back at my first year and I was like, where did these deals come from? And like half of them were the attorneys that I used to work with. So I was like, why am I running from this? And then I started to foster, but I wish somebody would have told me from the beginning, like, stop resisting, like the network you already have, like utilize that and dig into it. And here's how.
I will say, Jessica, I have been listening to you since I started, and that is something that you have been saying, and I was listening because I was also the same when I came into it. I was like, I'm so sick of this Navy life. I don't want to be in this anymore. Real estate is new. I just want to be with like all real estate, and that's a different chapter of my life. So I want to be done with the Navy. And you said, don't resist it. And I sat on it for like, I don't know, 60 days, because I was really not okay with it.
It's okay. I'm stubborn too.
But then finally I said, it's what I know. I can relate so much better to them because I know them. I am them. So this is where I am. Why am I fighting that? I would just be better putting those efforts to serving that community and those communities that I'm already in, rather than finding new ones to serve.
I absolutely love that. And that's why I people ask me like, oh, is there like, especially when agents want to join my team, like, oh, can you like give me the blueprint of how you built your business and I can just go off of that? And I'm like, absolutely not. Like, real estate is so personal. Like, I grew up around this probate process. Like, when you work in probate, it took me years of going to meetings of attorneys to even understand what probate was. You know, it's like, I would never throw somebody into that doesn't have that background. Meanwhile, you have this amazing network with the background that you have. You could work with VA buyers and understand that process because you've been there. And that's much more valuable than me trying to be like, yeah, I work with some probate attorneys, so therefore everybody that knows me should too. It doesn't make sense. Like, I can't say it enough, but go with what you know and build those relationships, and don't run from your past if you don't have to.
Right? Real estate is interesting enough without you making it more challenging by getting into things you don't know. If you can bring in previous experience, previous knowledge, previous spheres, and incorporate real estate into that, then that's really where your gold is in the long term.
Exactly. Couldn't agree more.
Yeah. Do we have any questions for Jessica or about referrals before I have us change topic? Yes, no, maybe so. You guys are killing it. Joe's just sitting back, taking it all in.
Joe hears enough from me.
No, it is interesting, you know, because a lot of my referrals are coming from my past job too, you know, with, you know, I was at BJ's Wholesale Club for like 7 years, and I was at Bass Pro for 1 year. And like just yesterday, I had someone call me from there, a team member called me for like just to vent and talk about stuff, and they're all spreading the word about me, how, you know, things aren't the same there, that I'm not there, but they're happy. I'm happy that I'm doing a great job, and they're spreading the word that I'm, you know, like, you know, good real estate agent. And so my first closing actually came from Bass Pro Shops, from
Nice.
somebody. So it does work, you know, to kind of, you know, like stick with your with that, and to make sure you use your spear and you use all the people you know. I did have a quick question. So I've been kind of diving into for sale by owners.
Mhm.
One of my struggles is how to get around the commission that they're wanting. If they're wanting to just do 3%, how do you fight for that extra, you know, 5%? How would you get them if they're wanting 3%? How would you best get them up to 5%?
I would first ask them why, what is it about the 3% that is so important to them first?
Uh-huh.
Because they might just say like, oh, I see the benefit in paying my side, but not the other side. Because
Mhm.
then if that's the reason, then that's a slightly different conversation on helping show the value on the other side as well, versus them saying like a for sale by owner saying, I don't see the value in your side. I see the value on the buy side. Bring me a buyer. That's a different conversation. So I like that you're wanting, you know, that there is a challenge, there is something in their mindset that you have to overcome, but you're going to need to dig deeper on what is it about whatever that's important to them.
Sure. Yeah.
And then that can steer you in the right direction. I'm all about one-liners. I've been telling my team this for like the past week. They're probably sick of hearing me say this, but I don't like scripts, like formal scripts. I love one-liners. I love
Mhm.
them. So when you tell me like, ooh, the commission, I'm like, oh shit, I hate this. I hate the commission one. I'm not even the greatest with that. But I do know the one-liner of, can you tell me what about blank is so important? Or why is that important to you? I know that question. I know that one-liner. And then based off of what they say is the follow-up.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've you know, George has given me a lot of tips on this, you know, making it really less about the
Yeah.
commission, more about the follow-up, and, you know, having at least four follow-ups, you know.
Yeah.
But still having that struggle with getting them, like I took a 3% commission listing where I'm taking one, the other side's taking two. And
Mhm.
then my seller, like 30 days into it, was like, let's give the buyer side 3%. So now the buyer side's getting 3%, I'm getting 1%. So I mean, you know, at the end of the day, it is what it is, but that's kind of the, you know, the hurdle that, you know, I try to get over.
Yeah, 1% is better than no percent. It's better than zero, but I feel your pain on that. But like Chris put into the chat, we've got to get back to the objective of why they're trying to sell. So if you can ask them, and if they're like, well, the 3%, I don't want to pay anything more than that, blah, 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 blah. It's just, I want to sell my house. Okay, Mr. Seller. But what if I told you that we could get you top dollar for your house while still paying 5%, 2.5%, or 6%, 3%? Would that be of value to you? If we could get you the amount of money that you want while still paying the 6%, would that be a scenario that would interest you? Anyone's going to say, well, of course, you mean I can do this and then still make more? And yeah, let's talk about what would that look like? How would you do that? And then you can go into that discussion of whatever your marketing plan is, the value that you bring, how hard you're going to fight for it with all the places it's going to be syndicated, how hard the other agents will be working for their side because they're well compensated. Whatever you want to say after that. But Chris is correct. You've got to, when it comes to objections, you just got to ask them why it's important to them and figure that out. But you really got to bring back the real purpose, because at the end of the day, they either need to sell or they don't. If they're just pissing about, then you're wasting your time. If they need to sell, if you know what their reason is, you can always drive it back to that. That's their driving motivation. And it should be something that elicits emotion.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Of course, Keith Landry.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Hope you all had a great weekend and a good Monday. I just want to kind of build on what you just said, Tiffany, this whole
Yeah.
notion of like discounting the commission too much, because like we sort of need to be careful about that in our industry. If everybody just shrugs and says, I'll take 1%, we're going to all be working at Publix before you know it, right? You know what I'm saying? In other
Yeah.
words, like when you have a listing and you list it at 4%, you're offering 2%. I don't know what everybody else does when I look at it and it says, oh, it's a 2% commission. Sometimes I show
Tiffany-
it, but I'm not
Tiffany,
awfully
we can't
excited
talk
about
commission
it.
on this.
Oh, you're right. I apologize for that. Apologize. All right, carry on, everybody.
Hypothetically, we can, numbers we can't.
Yeah.
No, that's fine. It's fine. I don't even want to go there then. I forgot about it. So everybody have a good day and I'll be quiet here. Carry on.
Other topics. Or if we want to do objection handlers, we can do the hypothetical of objection handlers.
Well, what you can do is show them why you've earned the commission that you're requesting and what benefits they're going to get out of listing it at the 5 or 6 versus the 4. What more are you going to do for them? And I would also say that if like a 1% would be like for a passive agent and you're an active agent, you're actively going to get their house sold. And you really just need to remind them of the value that you bring to the table. So
I've
at the end of the
seen
day,
the tiered packages for listings where it shows like, hey, this, if the sellers pays this much, this is what it's done, what's done, this much. And in some cases, I have seen presentations where it shows the flattest rate having literally just entering into the MLS as the task.
at the end of the day, you prove to them that you've earned that commission and what you're asking.
Desiree, do you
Bet.
have a value statement for what you do? I mean, why aren't we asking for 137% commission rate? I mean, we're worth every penny of it.
100, that's a lot of money.
I
Most
know,
people
it's like, that
like,
sounds like something
We can
Clark would
negotiate
request.
down, right?
it's extreme.
Yeah, that sounds like,
137% is extreme, like 1% is extreme. Like there are costs associated with getting a listing. There's costs associated. So you have to make sure that it covers the cost and that the maths. The math ain't mathin' in some cases. So you gotta make sure that, you're not doing this for nothing.
agreed.
But so Desiree, when you're talking to them, listing agreement, pre-listing package, do you have a full list of everything that you're going to do for them that differentiates you?
Yes.
Can you help us share? Can you share a little bit about what you tell them your value is? I mean, I could tell you some of mine. For instance, husband and wife team, so it's a 2-for-1. 3 MLS systems. Obviously, open houses, large distribution to agents across the state, across the country, and across the world. Very knowledgeable in the area, years in the business. That's just part of my value statement to them of why they would choose us and why we're worth every penny that we're asking for. Do you have something similar?
Yes.
Does everyone have something similar?
I'm sorry, I wasn't listening.
But I'm also with Chris on this, with getting to the why and the pain points and getting them to remember why they're trying to sell in the first place. We can boast about me all day, but at the end of the day, it's about them
Oh,
Yes,
I
and what
agree,
we can do for them.
right, but there is a cost, like we said, there is a cost to them associated, and we want to make sure they understand. If we're telling them this is how much we're expecting and we're charging, we should be able to back that up with, real information.
I would
Data
never
on
say
a
this is,
monthly, on a weekly basis of statistics, what's going on in the market, what's going on with their listing, it's
The-
listed
the
in multiple
wording's funky.
places.
I would never say this is what I expect. I would let them choose, this is what we provide. These are the options.
So you're using a tiered system?
Yeah, I have a tiered system.
Okay. A lot of people do that. I don't disagree with it. Everyone has their own approach.
In my opinion.
The discussion was more to other agents of, you've got to show them your value statement. There's lots of choices out there for them. Why are you so much better choice for them for what they're trying to accomplish, which is both price and time frame? Those are usually the two pieces. Keith, I think you can probably jump in back here because we got around the commission one, but it's really about what we're trying to accomplish.
I don't have a lot to add on it, but I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I know we're all working hard. I mean, this is not easy all the time. So you got to get paid for it. You can't do it for free. I think you made a great comment about just making sure you're listing for folks, explaining them, look, here's what I'm going to do for you. Here's the value here. And it's worth some money. A lot of times I explain to people, like I put it in their shoes, like, okay, let's say that you were earning $100,000 and your boss came to you and said, we love you. You're doing an amazing job, but now we're going to pay you $67,000 instead of $100,000. Would you be excited about that? Well, basically that's 3% down to 2%. So I think maybe it's good to explain it to people in the way they do their job and in the terms they would understand and how they would feel about being paid less. And that's probably all I can add to that.
Keith, I love that analogy. I'm going to try that one. Thank you.
This is a funny industry. It's one of the few that we spend all the money up front and hope to recoup it. So you've got to be willing to put forth the money, which is the effort, and for them to understand that this is for their benefit, for what they're trying to accomplish. If we put commission over customer, we fail. If we do our job correctly, we get paid in the end. Again, it's a funny industry, and there's some sort of a balance here, and I'm not really sure where it is on any given week. The market continuously changes and shifts, and we've got to try to stay ahead of that. I will say this straight out. At the end of the day, you're competing. Bring home the listing. Make sure it's worth the value you're going to put into it, but bring home the listing. If you're in front of them, get them to sign before the next agent comes in and gives them a different proposition that they may go with. But we're not discount brokers. We're here to negotiate every deal individually to make sure that both sides get what is required in order to perform the job. That's my thought on it.
So
Well-
I had kind of a weird conversation the other day. I was calling expired listings, and I got this guy on the phone, and he was friendly, but he would not answer with anything more than a couple of words. And I didn't know what he wasn't hanging up, but it wasn't exactly a conversation either. I was like, what am I supposed to do with this? Because like, are you thinking of reselling the home? No. Oh, can you tell me why? Oh, we're just not going to. And it but it went on for a really awkwardly long time where I kept trying to ask a question and they just like, no. And he's like, well, I did get out of him that they're rehabbing the home. They're planning they want to move to a different part of town and like do the same thing all over again. So I got that much out of them. But then it's like, well, would you like me to send you some information? No. I could put a little packet together, like, of other things I can do for you. No. But he wouldn't hang up, but he wouldn't engage either. And I was like, what do I do with this? I need feedback on like when he just would not say a complete sentence. I was like, and he wouldn't hang up either. So any feedback as well.
For that
Alice, can
one,
I ask a
I would
question?
just find interest in try something else, honestly, in that conversation. So if they're talking to me about rehabbing the house, oh, what exactly, can you share what you're doing? Is it the kitchen? Is it the bathroom? It's the bathrooms. Oh, I love a good bathroom reno. What are you doing to it? Tiling. Oh, okay, very cool. I'm always on the market for a great tile guy. Who are you using right now? ABC Tile. Oh. So did your spouse help you or significant help you pick out the tile? Or what other projects are you doing? If you feel like you went down like a dead end, just back up and go down another way. See if they'll bite on a different line, something like that. And because honestly, you did nothing wrong. This is just feedback. You kept trying, of course. Kudos.
Right.
You could have just been like, okay, well, you have a great day, sir, and click. You could have done that as well, but you kept trying and you got some info. But personally,
felt like I
I
was
would have
sounding
just
really
tried to shift
because
away from
very few complete answers, very few complete sentences coming back. So I just felt, and he wasn't hanging up, so I wasn't hanging up.
yeah, no,
But
try
we weren't getting anywhere
shifting.
either. So it's very
Try
awkward.
shifting from the reason why you called specifically and see if anything else would have bit. Really,
My brain just does
honestly.
not work
Alice,
fast enough, I
I've got
swear.
a thought.
Yes.
So they expired. Some of them still felt burned. It didn't go well. They didn't sell the house a lot of times. They really don't know who you are. You're a cold call, right?
Yep.
Why wouldn't we also approach them like we do for sale by owners? Hey, Alice, this is Robert with eXp Realty. How are you today? Play along.
Okay, I'm good. Thank you. Sorry, I didn't know I was being talked to.
I'm a local realtor in your area, and as you know, we have a tight inventory. I saw that your house had expired from the market.
Yeah.
If you're thinking about bringing that back, is there any chance I could come by sometime this week and take a look at it? So that if
No.
I have a buyer that it fits for, perhaps we can
No.
talk further?
No. No.
So you're not interested in selling your home at this point?
No.
Well, the conversation's over there.
That's all he would do. And he wouldn't hang up. That's the thing is like, well, I'm like, if he's not gonna hang up, I'm not gonna hang up. But it went on for a long enough time that I was feeling really awkward.
Well, I mean, if it was me,
Yeah.
and you wouldn't hang up on me, I would basically tell you I've scheduled an appointment and I'll see you in about 3 hours and see where that goes.
Anyway, I just was wanting to feedback, just some thoughts on, because he was engaged enough to not hang up, but I just couldn't figure out what to do next. So I felt like my son, okay, guys, this is off topic, but my son was a wrestler, and his first time like wrestling, he would get the guy like into some sort of position. He would literally pop his head up and like look around, like, now what do I do? Like, I've got now what? The crowd was like laughing hysterically because he didn't know how to get him on his shoulders to pin him, but his head would pop up and he'd look around. That's how I felt with this guy. I'm like, well, I've got him on the phone. I'm having a conversation. Now what? Y'all weren't here.
That's okay. That's okay. And you never know what lessons real estate is trying to teach you. You could have
I'll
been
get off.
having
I
a
just figured you'd
lesson
take a
in awkward silence.
You're still muted, Tiffany.
It says I'm unmuted. Can you hear me?
I can't hear you. Maybe others can. Oh, sorry.
Can anyone
I
hear
can
me?
hear you.
There we go. I'm
Okay.
sorry. Just me.
Okay, it's all good. Any other topics before I cut the recording? Because it is open topic. We can go to literally anything.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great day today.
Thanks, Keith. Keith broke the awkward silence for y'all because I was gonna let it sit.
So here's a question, Tiffany. I know this might be tongue in cheek though.
What?
When you step on your floor and you hear a waterbed, is that a good thing?
From
That's me this morning. Sorry.
oh my God. Hold on that. We can turn that into a real estate thing. Aren't those things like banned in certain places? Like water beds in general, just because of the damage they created when they popped. With that, I'm gonna at least cut the recording. Thank you guys for participating.